Have you ever opened a package from someone who died years ago and found a message that changed your entire life? 3 months ago, I would have laughed if someone told me that a single box could completely destroy everything I believed about my family. My name is Ethan. I'm 29 years old, and until recently, I thought I knew exactly who my father was. According to my mother, he was a selfish man who abandoned us when I was 5 years old. Growing up, I never questioned that story. Why would I? My mom worked 2 jobs. She sacrificed everything for me. Every birthday, every school event, every difficult moment, she was there. My father wasn't. Or at least, that's what I believed. Then, one rainy Tuesday afternoon, a delivery truck stopped in front of my apartment. The driver handed me a small cardboard box. The return address made my heart stop. It was my father's name. I stared at it for nearly a minute. That was impossible. My father had died 7 years ago. My hands were shaking as I carried the box inside. There was no letter on top. No explanation. Just a small key, an old photograph, and a flash drive. The photograph showed my father holding me as a baby. I had never seen that picture before. On the back, written in faded ink, were 6 words. For Ethan, when you're ready. I plugged the flash drive into my laptop. A video file appeared. The date on the recording was only 3 weeks before my father's death. I clicked play. The screen flickered. Then I saw him, older, tired, but smiling. "Hey, Ethan." My chest tightened instantly. It was the first time I'd heard his voice in over 20 years. "If you're watching this, then I'm gone." I couldn't breathe. He continued. "I don't know what you've been told about me, but before you decide who I was, I need you to hear my side." I leaned closer to the screen, and what he said next changed everything. He explained that he hadn't abandoned me. He said he fought for custody. For years. He showed documents. Court papers, emails, letters he had sent. Birthday cards that were never answered. He had tried. Again and again. But according to him, my mother had hidden every attempt he made to contact me. At first, I refused to believe it. My mom would never do that, right? I paused the video. My heart was racing. Part of me wanted to delete everything and forget it, but another part needed answers. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. What would you do if you discovered your entire childhood might have been based on a lie? I spent the next week investigating. I contacted old relatives, people I hadn't spoken to in years. One by one, their stories started matching my father's version. An aunt told me she remembered him sending gifts every Christmas. A cousin said he'd talked about me constantly. Another relative even showed me photos. Dozens of photos. My father standing outside my elementary school. My father sitting in his car across the street from our house. My father attending baseball games where I was playing. He had been there. Not beside me, but nearby, watching from a distance, because that was the only way he could see me. I felt sick. Everything I believed was collapsing. Then I found the final item hidden inside the box. A sealed envelope. It was addressed to me, in my father's handwriting. I opened it carefully. Inside was a single letter. The paper was stained as if tears had fallen on it years ago. The first sentence nearly broke me. "Ethan, if you're reading this, then I never got the chance to tell you how much I loved you." I sat there for hours reading those words. He described my first steps. My first birthday. The way I used to laugh when he made silly faces. Memories I didn't even know existed. Then came the final paragraph. And I'll never forget it. It said, "If you discover the truth, please don't spend your life hating anyone. Anger steals too much time. I already lost enough years without you. Don't lose any more." I cried harder than I had in my entire adult life. Not because he was gone, but because I finally realized he had never left. Someone had taken him away. A week later, I visited his grave for the first time. I brought the photograph from the box. I sat there for nearly an hour, talking, laughing, crying, apologizing. I told him about my life, my job, my apartment, my dreams, everything a son should have told his father years ago. The wind was cold that morning, but for the first time in a very long time, I felt peace. As I stood up to leave, I looked down at the headstone, and I noticed something I had somehow never seen before. Under his name was a short inscription. It read, "A loving father." For years, I thought those words were a mistake. Now I know they were the truth. And every time I think about that mysterious box, I realize something important. Sometimes the people we miss aren't the ones who disappeared. They're the ones whose stories we were never allowed to hear. And sometimes, the truth arrives years late, but it still arrives.